Girls Frontline 2. I've been enjoying this game since its release, and honestly, I wholeheartedly recommend it. I would like to note that the dormitory system, despite being pretty nice in my opinion, as you see here, I reached max bond with Vepley. She's pretty cute. I got her skin. I also got the same outfit for Krolnik as well. I enjoy both. I will say though that Vepley, Suomi, and I believe it's most of the gods? No, it's Tolo. These three being the only characters as of right now who actually have a full bond, and I obviously other characters may have them too, but not everyone has them to such a degree. Like as an example, some characters will just say, stay tuned, and don't get me wrong, I hope they're added in the future, and I don't know what the situation is like on CN side, but not every character having a bond story is kind of disappointing, especially because, yes, don't get me wrong, the characters that do are pretty cute, but I want to learn about some others, like Sharkry. She's adorable. Same thing with Krolnik. And I think bond stories, I will say bond stories themselves are pretty good. I've experienced some minor typos here and there, but nothing egregious. And overall, I'd say they're just nice to have. If I'm ranking them among the respective gachas that I play, I'd say Blue Archive still has the best, followed sometimes by MICA. Then I'd say GFO2. Then I'd say that's possibly, actually above GFO2, I'd say this is maybe on par or slightly worse than PGR's bond stories, with ZZZ being the absolute worst out of the bunch. I think these are pretty good nonetheless though, and I do have my personal favorites. After reaching, this bond level with Suomi, I might, or maybe I am considering getting her a Covenant ring, just to see what the rest is like. Otherwise though, my next goal is Sharkry, Krolnik, and so on. I think the dormitory system is quite nice. I think being able to set your own custom wallpaper is very nice. Banner-wise, it follows a gacha similar to Genshin, similar to the Hoyo gachas, and I think that's fine. Overall, it's not bad. I like that it has a pity counter here. It's not, egregious or god-awful. I am waiting for the adjustment to standard banner to where I can select who I want to be my rate up. That way, I can go for either dupes of Tolo or perhaps get the rest of my fire team sorted. I'll see. I'm skipping Macchiato. She looks like Dala from Nikke. She's fine. She reminds me of Kafka as well. She's okay. Overall, design doesn't really interest me. I'm waiting for a few others. The event side of things, I'm enjoying it. They added platoons. I am the owner of Cunny Archive. It's nice. We're full. We've been full since day one. I need to actually do my quests. In terms of overall gameplay, I like that stages can be autoed. Don't get me wrong, the AI is not the best in a lot of scenarios. I'm autoing this stage, once I actually get the ability to do so. It's not bad though. Now I will state this game does lock your mouse onto it if you have dual monitors. Keep that in mind. You will have to press the Windows key or just put it in windowed mode. Both are fine. I think quality wise, this game is quite fine. And just as I say that, it stutters. I think that optimization wise, it's not the best. In terms of optimization, I will say it kind of feels maybe on par with something like WW if you played that. Don't get me wrong, it's fine, it's nice, it's good enough, it's not egregious, but if you've used to Hoyo games, this isn't on par with that. It does have a PC launcher though, so that puts it a step above many other gachas. And this is so much better than Nikke, because this game loads in at most 30 seconds. You click start and it starts. The most trouble you will have is when it gets a slight hiccup on the actual, I'd say, startup screen before it gives you the option to press start and get into it, but that's really it. This game is very quick to load. It's very nice. Now, I think building characters it's not bad. There is no realistic artifact grind. You're grinding for weapon parts, sure, but you're not really leveling them up and hope they all roll into crit consistently. You can re-roll them. So all you're looking for is the base substats. That could be crit rate, crit attack percentage, whatever. Usually it's attack boost, crit rate, and crit damage. That's all you really want, as well as being on the right set. And because of how farming it is, especially with sweep, because of how fast everything is, it doesn't feel too bad in my opinion. Now, I will say dupes. I have a V1 Suomi, so essentially that's the equivalent of C1. It's nice for her in particular, just because of the additional, I don't even know what it's called anymore. It's the thing, I think it's stability. It's stability recovery. That's nice. I don't know how it compares with other characters, but dupes do seem somewhat impactful, but of course this isn't making me going to C6. The rest of her cons, I believe, were just damage oriented or skill based, and to be honest, if you're not using a skill, you don't really need the others. Overall, I think it's a fun experience. I actually recommend this one. I want there to be more bond stories. I don't mind the gacha that much, but I've accumulated a lot of currency. The skins are nice. The fan service, I'd say it's less than Snowbreak, less than BD2, less than Haze Reverb, maybe on par with Nikke sometimes, but I think Nikke's art style lends itself more to being a very fan servicey game, whereas this game has in my opinion, much more standard art style. It's not as stylized. I do think that In my opinion, there are some slight issues with the UI, specifically within the public area, because I don't understand why that's called public area. It doesn't really seem like it needs to be. In all honesty, public area just seems like a slightly more confusing way just to say dormitories. That's usually the only thing you're going for when you click on public area. But whatever, that's a minor thing. I will say, I actually recommend this. I think if you're looking for a new gameplay style, and you're maybe not in the same vein as Arknights, like you like that strategic aspect of AK, but you don't like the fact that it doesn't have a PC launcher, that it's very very standard. I think the art style of the characters in Arknights is very stylized, it's very pretty, but the actual gameplay itself can be a little bit bland at times. This is a pretty good in-between thing. It's not as, mobile friendly as AK in a lot of scenarios. It looks nice, sure. It looks higher quality, sure, but it's not the same standard open world game we've been getting for a lot of gacha games as of now. And so I appreciate that. I think that if that's what you like, good. Get this game. It's free. Play it. See what you feel. And then you can obviously drop it at any point in time. I've been enjoying it myself. It's a much more close to a side game, I'd say, because there isn't really much I'm doing within the game itself. Yes, you can do main story. Yes, you can do events. Yes, you can farm out certain stages, but a lot of that is dependent on the level grind. And once you get done that, you're essentially boiling it down to, hey, farm for weapon attachments. Essentially, you've reached that artifact grind, and that's what you're going to be doing for the rest of your days. And I don't mind that. It doesn't require an intense amount of time. It's not bad in any capacity. And I think for what it's offering, it's fine. Story-wise, I've read, it's not bad. I will say the biggest issue it has is that there seems to be, not necessarily a dependency, but more so the game seems to want me to have played GFO 1 to understand some context here and there. Like either certain characters meeting each other, or who in the hell this person is, or what events are they talking about. It's not bad. It's just something to note getting into it. I don't feel like it's necessary to play GFO 1, but I do think that if you have played that game, you will get a slightly better experience out of this game story. With that being said, everyone's cute. If you don't necessarily see anyone here that you like, I'd say go to Pridwin, look through the characters menu, see if you find one that's hot, and if you do, hey, that's your future goal. I found a couple that I think are pretty cute. Everybody here is nice. The animations are nice. The upskirts I approve, very much so. But obviously, that may not be your thing. If you're someone who's interested in the combat itself, how hard is it? I will say that whilst you can auto some stages, I think event stages can be pretty difficult. Boss fights might push you a little bit here and there. Some of them can be boiled down to the exact same things or be pretty consistent and samey, and I understand that. But I overall think combat itself is a strong suit of this game when it chooses to actively force you to engage in those mechanics. I will say strategically, I think Arknights is a far better game for that type of combat. This leans a little bit heavier into the casual aspect here and there. It's not bad, not like egregious, not Genshin levels of easy or anything like that, but not Arknights levels of difficulty. Music-wise, I'm gonna say nothing stand out. It's fine here and there. But if anything I've mentioned thus far is of interest to you, hey, start the game. Give it a shot. I recommend it. There are a lot of gachas coming out this year. You have Enfield, you have Azure Lane, you have Never Finish to Everness, I believe. You have the next batch of updates for the HSR and Genshin if you're still playing those. Weathering Waves just got a big update, and I'm gonna be honest, it's amazing. You have so many different options that sticking with a game that you're unhappy with, or trying one and not liking it and being afraid to drop it doesn't make sense. And if you're concerned about the sweep mechanic, how much investment does this require in the event that you maybe don't care about the main story itself, legitimately, this is your artifact section. You're coming in here, and let's just do 38 stage, and you're finding which material you need. Now, this is weapon dependent, assault rifles, shotguns, SMG, machine guns, and so on. And you're looking at whatever set you need, and you're just clicking the amount of resin or stamina you want to spend. That's legitimately it. And you can immediately look through here. No, I don't want that. No. Crit rate is nice. I'll keep that. Crit damage is nice. I'll keep that. And that's your artifact section. Now to give you a brief overview of, do I have any assault rifle uses that I use? Yes. Solo. We'll go with you. That was probably a very bad decision beforehand. But legitimately speaking, as you see, I've rolled this piece. It rolled into crit rate. It's quite nice. I'm looking for a great crit damage one and attack boost, but I have none. It has a crit rate, attack, and attack boost. So this one is slightly better. You're going to calibrate them. By that I mean you're adding these all in and you're seeing what it rolls into. Oh, it rolls into crit rate, attack, and attack boost. This isn't bad, but I can calibrate it again to re-roll it. That had 6 before. What does it get now? 6.3. So as you see, everything increased a little bit. The attack got a pretty chunky increase. Cool. And I can continue doing that. Basically, it's a artifact system that isn't god-awful. All I'm looking for is the good substat line, and I can continue to reroll as much as I can, and then boost, I can just boost the attributes themselves. It doesn't really matter because, hey, 69, nice. But, It's so dependent. It's nice. It's not god awful. It doesn't make me want to shoot myself. And if you're wondering about overall stat lines, this is what they look like. And these are where you're finding your cons to see, hey, what does everybody do? Overall, not a bad experience. I will say it's a wonderful game. Is it perfect? Is it exceptional? It's going to blow you away? Maybe not. But I think for a quality gacha, this is exceptional. I enjoy it. I recommend it. Try it. If you like it, great. If you don't, that's fine too. And I'll see you next time. Either way, subscribe.